going here.
This meeting is being recorded.
Ooh, nice and loud. It's being recorded. Everybody got that?
Got that.
Awesome. So how are you guys doing? Let me just check in. Let's go around and check in first before we get started. Susan, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I've been trying to write, so that's been taking my time. I have a weekly class, and it's really great discovering other writers, finding my people, so to speak. Yeah.
Have you written books before, Susan?
Yeah, I've written one book, and it's published. I never marketed it, so it certainly didn't hit any bestseller lists, but it's out there.
What's it called?
Turning Points. How to wake up, tune into your GPS, and get unstuck.
Oh, I love
Wow.
that.
That's awesome.
And this one, you have another one coming through for you?
I don't know. I need to write about my journey to Mexico, but how much of it, where it will go, I don't know. I mean, what the heck? How many more adventures can I have? I'm not sure.
As many as you desire.
Well,
Right?
I suppose that's true, but I'm 81, so
Oh,
They
hey,
get
you
it.
got 15 or 25 more years left.
I know. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with it.
Especially when you're living in paradise over there.
Yeah. But I'm happy. Yeah, definitely. I'm happy. So
Oh, fantastic.
life is good. Yeah.
And writing is really something that you need to get in that flow and stay there.
Yes, I know. I find it hard to be very disciplined about anything, including painting. I mean, I love painting, I love writing, but the day seems to disappear with stupid little errands or, some things take longer down here, like keeping track of my finances. It takes so much time simply because I have to, what's the word I want? Translate them from pesos to dollars and
Conversion rate. Yeah.
yeah, conversion. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what we call structure in the flow.
That's what we call obstacles in the flow.
Well, those, yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, creating structure.
Yes, I have
In the
to. I have
flow.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, we do hope you finish your book while you're still here. So that would be
Well,
the push.
I need to start writing. I mean, the journey down here was the most dramatic. So if I can't even make myself sit down and write that. I will, but
Mhm.
I guess it's percolating up here.
Yeah. Yeah. And the timing will be right.
Yeah. And I also find I always wrote mostly by hand initially. And I can't do that now. I've got arthritis in my wrist and my fingers and stuff, and my hand will hurt too much. So I've been trying to do it on the computer, and I've done a little, but I need to keep going. And I've been rereading all the things that I've written over the years because I've always written a lot. So I'll get there.
Mhm.
It'll happen.
It will. It will. Awesome. Thanks, Susan. Delmaine, you want to go next?
Sure. I did a little bit of work on our Mystic Biz, so I did my budget and that sort of stuff, and looked to see. And I actually have a lot less bills, definitely, than you do, because I'm living at home with my parents. So I look at that, and I don't need as much to sustain where I'm at. but I also look at my last year, and my income from my art is definitely increasing, and I'm getting more out there. So it's coming. So I think that's going to increase, but I think I need much more. So I just need to put that out there. And then I tried to write my list of what I wanted, and there's not a lot that I want, but I do want to build my big one is building a studio home, right? So, and in a tiny house that's self-sufficient, right? So it's actually quite a big project when you look at it that way, instead of just throwing something together. Because if you just go by all the what's in style or whatever, but I want to be able to have it so that it is self-sufficient, so I don't have to be on the grid at all. So that complicates it quite a bit, but I also have no money right now to start that. So I have to literally, so the first thing I did was I actually just bought a plan book on small cabins and stuff like that. So that's bought, it's in my hands, and I'm actually giving it to my son-in-law for Christmas present because he's the builder. But in the back of my mind, I've got this in place, and I'll just take a note of which ones I like before I give it to him so that he has it, and then we'll go from there. So
That's
Sounds
that's my big
exciting.
yeah, like I've always wanted that. I need to have that. That is my big want. As far as who I am, I have no idea really. Like I know who I am, but to actually write it down and say who I am, I have to go through, okay, what are my values? What are all those things? So I have to sit down and do that yet. I haven't, but to have a big of what's my purpose, who I am. I know that I'm wanting to bring joy through my art. Now, I had a little bit of a moment when I was at that conference that I went to, because that was kind of how there was a lady there, Dr. Rose, who can identify where your blockages are. So she did work on me. And so I didn't mean it to come out this way, but this is how it came out when she said, okay, what's your big question? And I said, well, I feel like my business isn't going as far as I want it to, and I want to bring joy to everyone. And that's just how I said it. And then she said, oh, well, is it your job to bring joy to everyone? I'm like, no, it's not, I guess. And I didn't even mean to say it that way, but that's how it came out. So it must be what I'm thinking. And so then it's like, okay, well, maybe that's not my purpose then. Maybe my purpose is to bring joy to myself through my art. I don't know. So you don't know, like you just kind of, okay, now I have to think a little bit more about this. So yeah.
Well, maybe it's inviting in joy to
Yeah.
people's lives versus bringing joy, because then you're not taking away the free will. You're inviting them through what you're creating to accept it or not accept it. Or maybe it's not joy that, maybe it brings them peace, not joy, or maybe it brings them something else.
Just bringing them options through
That's
creativity.
like bigger than joy, like joy, but maybe there's more that it's bringing in that you're like, this is it, just joy.
Okay,
And
so
it's like,
bringing,
it's like,
okay,
no,
yeah,
it needs to be, it's bigger, because we all know art affects everybody differently. Like you and I can look at the same thing and you're like, wow, that makes me feel really peaceful. And I'm like, wow, that really brings up a lot of stuff for me, or whatever.
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So maybe you
Maybe
need
it's
to
just
expand
opening the
what you're
door for
offering.
them. Yeah, maybe it just opens the door for a new life, or opens the door for something more. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, I just have to rethink how I'm saying it, and yeah, like I don't want to put it on people, but I do know that once they allow it to happen, it'll bring something more to their life. So yeah, something like that. Anyway, so lots of thinking, deep thinking going on, and it's just like, what am I doing? But it's coming, more things coming in. And it's
Sounds
all
like
good.
you're ready. Yeah, you're ready for the next level. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where the whenever we get kind of restless or confused, it's like, oh, we're ready to move to that next level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
it.
definitely. I'm feeling like go, 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 but stop, stop, stop. Because I don't know, where am I going? So I have to get that down on paper. But now that I've done a bit of the work, I think that, yeah, the next steps are coming, that if I get it down on paper, then I have a focus a bit more. Yeah. So it's good.
I have to tell you, it never ends.
Yeah.
You never actually get there. I don't
I
think.
think, yeah. And I think that is true. And
Yeah.
because we're never done.
No,
We're never
We're-
done.
we're always evolving.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Mhm.
Anyway,
And
that's what's happening.
yeah, that's that conscious creator. And it's not that you're a manifester. I mean, we're all manifestors, but you're intentional. You're creating intentionally. And so that's a constant, right? That's awesome. Thanks, Delmaine, for all of that. That sounds like there's a lot opening up for you. And a lot of this, Susan, you're missing more than half the conversation, because this was coming from our certification program, the meetings we've been having on the business, on the mindset, on all of that. So but it blends right into this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. Okay, Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. This is a really chaotic week, and so because of the time change,
Mhm.
I'm going to be leaving here in about 15 minutes to go get my little guy from
Okay.
preschool. And it's picture day, so I have to be there early. So it's like, oh, because his little brother's going to go too. So I'll do my best to jump on in the car, but I don't know how to make that work through the car. So if you see me sign in, it's I'm hoping I can hear you. I always struggle with the audio part of it. Anyway, my week's been going otherwise smoothly. We're actually, one of the reasons it's chaos and hectic is as soon as I get done from dropping him off at daycare, I get back here, park my car, jump in my husband's car, and we're going off to Edmonton. So there's a bit of urgency there because we're meeting up with my brother in North Battleford on the way. So it's like, he's related to me, so he doesn't like to be late. He doesn't like to he doesn't like to wait for people. Not like, so it's like, if we have to go to a wedding, my dad, my brother, myself, we're there 20 minutes early, if not half an hour. So my husband was 5 or 10 minutes late for our wedding. So he doesn't understand the urgency for everything. So right now I'm vibrating right here, like way up here, and it's not on a conscious vibration level. It's just a chaos level. So if I'm in and out, that's why. So like Delmaine said, she's really looking for her purpose. I am too. And I'm struggling with pinning it down to what it actually is. And I keep going back to when the kids finished school and they left home. And it's like, okay, now what? So I can't keep using that excuse for the rest of my life. So I'm in a big search right now, and here we are. This is part of the evolving and uncovering the purpose. And it's like I'd say, are we halfway through almost?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting close. It's like, oh, okay, step up now. So
we had a fabulous discussion last night in the Unstoppable Dream Women's Circle about love and fear. And we focused it around business. The group of us that were there, we all had business, and we were expressing, like, there was activities to do prior to the call where you actually identified your fears a little bit. And it's been a really great one for me, because I've been awakening to a few fears that have been there for a while and keep coming back up, but I see it in a different way now. But after our discussion of all the fears of, the fears of success, the fears of what if I get, kind of trapped into this business that I'm not comfortable with, or I don't like the way it's going. Or for me, it was that burnout again, because you too. Yeah.
No, no,
You have to
my
go?
fear is completely the opposite, and you guys will all laugh. What if I'm successful, very successful? So that's one of my biggest fears. And it's like, oh, I don't know how I don't know how my conscious self would handle that. So
Yeah. And so uncovering that even deeper. So put yourself there. What's going on then that's causing that fear, right? Yeah. So it's it was really good. Anyways, what we did was like, after listening, after we all expressed, I was like, okay, well, we're right now sitting in our human self instead of our big infinite self. And so it's again that responsibility part of like, well, what if I get it wrong? What if I do the wrong thing? What if I am super successful and I mess it all up, or I'm in too much demand, or what if I can't keep up? All of that. And we forget that we are this infinite being that can figure anything out. And so to stop trying to manage it and control it from the human self and open up to that big, beautiful, infinite source that we are co-creating with, and just allowing it to flow. Yeah. So it was really great. It was, there was a lot coming through for a lot of people. So great conversations, and we'll get there. Yet. Okay. Let's see, Micah.
Well, I just really don't have words, honestly, for this week. So there's that. But I will share a fear, because Kelly's like, oh, mine's funny, which I feel like mine is funny also, because it's two, but they're equally like, well, how are you supposed to balance those out? Is fear of being seen, but also fear of being not seen.
Mhm.
So there's that. But yeah,
they kind of
so
go hand in hand, don't they?
right, but it's like I always thought, oh, I have this fear of being seen. Like, what if people don't like me? What if they think I'm weird? What if they like are burning crosses in my yard or something because I do all these things? But then I had done a shadow coaching session with two people, and they were like, well, that's not it. Like, you're also afraid to not be seen. And I was like, what? They're like, well, because you want to be seen. So you have to figure out the balance of like which one is your bigger fear. And I was like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do with that now?
Not as odd as you think, because that was a big part of our conversation last night. A lot of people
So
feeling that. Oh, this is great conversation for, I guess, next week, eh? Because we're going to talk about soulfully selling. Oh, I love it. Micah, or sorry, not Micah, Lane.
Well, you guys kind of heard how my week has been going, but I think, well, yeah, I've been experiencing fear too. Just like, can I handle this? And then I get a weight on my chest and anxious about all this, and then I see my kids snuggle the puppy, and my husband is like so in love with the puppy, and I'm like, yeah, I can handle this. Like they're just adding so much more love to my house. I think for me, a big part of my fear becomes from disappointing my parents. Both my parents are quite opinionated, and they're not shy about their opinions, which is fine. We have a really open communication in our family because of that. But they also don't like big dogs. So it's like, what are my parents gonna think? But my mom's coming over tonight. She wants to meet them, so it is what it is. I guess I'm more worried than they are, I think, is part of it. But the other day when I was really kind of just feeling like I came home for lunch and then the puppy was crying, and then you feel bad for leaving the puppy. And then I just pulled over on the side of the road because I haven't had time to do meditations in the morning. My son's not napping, so he seems like he's getting up earlier. And then I got a puppy to get up to too. So it's like I feel like my mornings have been limited. So I pulled over and then I looked you up and did your meditation, and it was that grandmother and mom meditation. I just I just got goosebumps. Like I felt so good after that. Like I just was like filled with my mom's and my grandma's love, and it's like it's okay, everything's fine, right? And so thank you for that. I really needed it.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love
Yeah,
it. Yeah, you're not alone. And Stan the man's gonna bring your mom love. Let him
oh
handle
totally,
it. Yeah, let him
totally.
handle it, and then you can just let it go.
Well, and then I found out like just down the road there's an obedience school and a kennel, like 5 minutes from my house. So it's like,
Really?
okay, like yeah, Jody Dixon is her name.
Oh,
So it's like, oh, well, there's a place that will help me with this because I just want a big dog with manners. Like I love a big dog with manners.
yeah.
I don't like big dogs without manners though. So I am determined he will have manners. And then I was like, how am I gonna have time to do this course now with this puppy? So that the one night, well, the first night I had him, I put a blanket around myself, sat right here, started drawing a feather, and he just fell asleep on the blanket beside me. And I was like, okay, I guess it's doable. So yeah, it's
Oh,
been an exciting but also fearful week, but I think more exciting than fear.
yeah.
I think the animals can pick up on our energy. And if we're trying to be positive and gentle, I think they're okay. Like the Janice, you prove it with your dogs, having them there all the time during your meditations. There's very few times where they're interrupting. Like there's the odd time, which is normal, but
Yeah.
they usually need something. I don't think they bother you unless they're requiring something or they're upset about something else that maybe needs your attention. But
Yeah.
generally, they're just there chewing
Yeah.
on hide bones.
You can hear them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can hear them, but I mean, they're not bothering anybody.
Yeah, not as much anymore. They definitely, like I said, they know routine. And as soon as I turn on that meditation music, they just settle in. They find their spot and settle in, unless, you know, Ellie hears something and gets upset. But yeah, it's amazing how much they love. They get used to your routine and your schedule. And yeah, it'll
I
all
think
settle in.
Gracie, I'm in this, okay? Okay, I'll come in a minute. I think a big part of my fear too is because I just lost my dog in April, and he was like my dog, and just letting another one in, right? And then experiencing that type of loss again, because it is huge. They're part of your family. So
Mhm.
I don't know. But you got to focus on the now, not like the future. You
Yeah.
got to just enjoy him now instead of thinking about when he's going to die in 12 years. Like, you know what I mean?
I
It's
totally
just,
know what you mean. Like,
I just felt that loss though. So it's like, it's a
yeah,
terrible loss.
it is. It is, but it's beautiful love and that you had. You can think about all of the things that you learned from that dog over the years and celebrate that. I know when I lost Honey Bear, the whole community knew about it because I was constantly talking about it online here. And she was only a year old and got hit by a truck. And
Oh.
she died in my arms, and it was horribly traumatic. And but beautiful stuff came out of that. Like that's when I truly understood what softening and opening your heart was all about. And that's what these animals do for us, is they open our heart. They like you said, she's brought so much, or he's brought so much more love into your house. And that's what I felt too. And then when that sudden traumatic event happened, it was like my heart was just cracked wide open. And I let myself grieve. I let myself have that time and crying, and yeah. And that was different from my past experiences of grief. I closed them off. And so there's so many things we learn from our pets, and oh, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. Mm-hmm.
It helps too, or it helped me if I did like a little honoring ceremony, but like I had his little favorite snacks and a picture, and
Yeah. So nice.
Could
You
Thank you.
borrow from Mexico's Day of the Dead celebration.
yeah.
That's a
And I
good,
did it. I did it outside because he loved being outside.
yeah.
And the next morning when I went out, there was nothing out there. I was like, okay.
oh,
So,
Oh,
and like I burned some herbs and had just like an extra picture of him and got a little whatever, but I was like, oh, okay, that feels better. So,
I put a little solar light where, well, we buried him in our yard. I know you're not supposed to, but we did. And we got a solar light where he is. So like I can look out my back window and that his little light's glimmering, and I'm just like, oh, it just feels good. So me and my husband sort like we didn't burn anything, but we had a little moment together, and my daughter painted a bunch of rocks and put it all around the area. And
nice. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we planted a lilac tree for my dog. My first dog was. Mhm. But yeah, those are beautiful, and that's so important, is to honor them instead of just, oh, okay, was a dog, so most people don't grieve and carry on. And yeah, it's important, right? Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about today. And timing wise was perfect because this week I received a book I ordered a few weeks ago. It's called Crystals and Sacred Spaces, or Sacred Places. So it talks about all the different PowerPoints on the earth. And I had started reading it, and it's like, oh my goodness, it talks about the crystals underneath those sacred places and that sort of thing. And so like Lake Louise, here in Banff, Alberta, has underneath the lake is apparently a lot of amethyst, and it's a center been known for a long time, which I knew this was that Archangel Michael is there, and lots of people have experiences with Archangel Michael at Lake Louise. And it got me thinking about, well, that's what we're talking about this week is how like one of the things she said in there is people don't realize how the rocks underneath where you live, or the house and what your house is made of, impact your energy. And I hadn't really thought about that much. And I was like, this is really great because we're talking about sacred spaces within our house and creating sacred spaces. And so I did, when I first moved into our acreage many, many years ago, I went and planted 4 crystals in the 4 directions. I was having a hard time settling in. I think I have a gypsy inside of me somewhere because I just, as soon as I'm in a place, I'm start looking at other places. It's like, so I went around the very edge of our acreage and to the 4 directions, and I planted crystals there and said, this is my place. This is my home. This is where we are. And this is our sacred space. And, we were there for 23 years and it was beautiful. So, it's something that I'm excited to do with you this month because I haven't done it yet for this house. And creating a sacred space in your home and creating altars for the 4 directions is like saying, here, okay, now we're going to contain this home as if we had a pile of amethysts underneath our foundation too. And we've all, I'm sure, done the cleansing with sage and sweetgrass or Palo Santo or whatever herbs you burn to cleanse your home. And that's good to do on a regular basis, right? But this month is all about, okay, what are the objects around us and how are they sacred to us and how are they holding us, right? So in the module, did you guys get your module? You're good?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. We're going to look at the different tools, not only, crystals and that sort of thing, but also oracle decks and tarot decks and different ways, tools we can that will help us channel. Now, I know some of you have oracle decks. Yeah. Lane, do you have any oracle decks? Okay. Susan, do you have oracle decks?
Yes,
What are
I got one recently. I don't do anything with them though. I think I
Okay.
maybe once or twice pulled a card, but I haven't started any practice. Whoops.
It's okay. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Because this might help you kind of start to use them and get familiar with them. Lane, you had a question about them?
Sorry, what's the difference between, sorry, just a question.
Mm-hmm.
So Oracle deck, like I have a deck of cards and it says things to inspire you every day. Is that an Oracle deck or do you mean like the kind that you set down and you can read people?
No, that's an oracle deck. The tarot deck is, well, you can use either one for readings, but the tarot deck is the traditional, like betwings with the Fool card and ends with the World card. Yeah. So those ones are those Gabby's cards?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're
Positive
the
affirmations.
universe.
As your back.
Yeah.
Yes, I have those too.
Yep.
And Susan, sorry, which one do you have?
I have Colette Baron Reed's Dreamweaver's Oracle. I've got another one someplace. And I've
Oh,
got medicine cards,
yes.
animal.
Yeah. Perfect. And usually you'll find, like I have so many. Sorry, Delmaine, go ahead.
So I have a couple tarot card decks that are just 2 different styles, but the same one with the major arcanas and the rest. I don't use them very often now. I find they just are always negative. So I'm just like, I'm not going to use those ones. And then I have my animal totem cards. And then I have the tree oracle. Okay, so those are oracles. And then the tree oracle deck with all the major trees. So I
love that one.
I sleep with them. I put them under my pillow. Like I'll choose. It's funny because I got the horses in my animal deck the other night. And so I slept with it for a few nights. And then last night, Blair and I were picking a card to sleep with. And I was shuffling them and the horse jumped out again. And I said, oh, and she said, oh, pick another one. I said, no, this is the one I need to pick because it jumped out. And then I explained that to her. So it's interesting how, and it's a good card. So I liked it anyway, but it worked perfect. But I don't know. I just think, okay, I'm going to sleep on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're shuffling them, if one falls out, that's your card. That's what she means. So that's something to pay attention to, or 2 or 3. Micah, which cards do you have there that you use?
I'm a card collector. Like, I'm like you. I have a lot. Like, just by my table that I sit and read in the morning, I have like 18 decks.
Yeah.
And that's just one section of my house. And I used to keep them like put away because I didn't want people to see them or whatever. But now I'm just like, you know what? I have crystals, I have cards, I have drums and feathers and whatever. Like, if you don't like it, then don't come to my house. I'm sorry. This is where we are.
Yeah, I'm leaving all my stuff out now too. My mom and dad see these things I bring up and I'm sure they're wondering, oh, okay, well, that's Dalmaine. I think my mom bought me my very first set of tarot card decks.
Mhm.
And that was when I was a teenager. So I had that one for a very long time. And maybe you can tell me what this means. I lost the star, the Major Arcana star card out of that deck. I never ever did find it. So I don't know what that means, but it's gone somewhere. In the
Interesting.
universe. Yeah, I
Maybe
don't know.
somebody else needed it.
Possibly.
Mhm,
Possibly.
Maybe you're the star.
mhm,
Oh, maybe.
mhm.
Maybe. I
So
don't
you
know.
don't need the star card.
Yeah, that could be. Anyway.
Well, it's good to use the tarot, or not the tarot, the oracle cards. The oracle cards are more positive. They're a little lighter. They're more positive affirmations. They're more positive guidance through the day. And I'm kind of like you, Dalmaine. I don't use my tarot cards very often anymore. Sometimes people will ask me for a reading, but I really feel like, you know what? You know the answers already, and you're the creator of your life. So we don't need cards to tell us how it's going to turn out. You
Mm.
get to choose. And a lot of people get caught up in the outcome that the cards say when that's not the outcome. You have a choice here. This is telling you where the probable direction is going, but I have used them as guidance, but I used to do readings and I stopped doing readings because people were just too caught up with getting the answers through the cards, and that's not what it's about. Cards are guidance. So the oracle cards are beautiful cards to use every day. Sit in meditation, do your meditation, and then pick a card each day. What is it that I need to know today? Or what is the best direction for me to take with this problem or this situation? Or how can I find more peace in my day today? And see what comes through for you. One of my favorite decks here is my Angels and Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. And those are the ones that I often use online to pull for everyone in the mornings. And it's amazing how much the cards will bring in information, more information for you. So if you're meditating and you're asking a question and you're feeling like, I don't feel like I'm getting clarification, pick a card for the day and start to use your cards for that guidance to go deeper in your channeling experiences. And there is, in the booklet, there is a whole list of questions that you can ask somewhere in here, different questions that you can ask for the day. If you're like, I don't know what to ask, it's like, well, how can I move beyond this block that I'm feeling right now? How can I, bring through an inspirational piece of writing, right? What would inspire people today? And that was often my question before I go online. I'll sit in meditation and go, what is the message we all need today, right? Not just for me, but for everyone. And every single time it's like somebody messages me and says, oh my gosh, thank you. That's exactly what I needed today. And it has helped me move through. So I loved that we did some channeling for each other last time. And I would love for us to try that again if you're up to it. And if you have an oracle card deck in front of you that you could right now give it a good shuffle and clear it. One way of clearing it is to take a crystal. Let me see, I have my crystal here, and tap it 3 times with the crystal, or you can knock on it. And what that does is it just kind of drops all the old energy out and we can use freshen it up. I also will, I will sage, my deck frequently. And when I do have it sitting here on my shelf and I don't have it wrapped up, I always put a crystal of some kind on top of it. So that's a good way if we're not, because traditionally tarot cards were to be wrapped in black silk or a natural fabric, like a pure cotton or something. But, and so you're protecting the energies of the deck, because the deck, the more you use it, the clearer it gets for you, the more you become connected. So it's nice to have a deck that you quite love. And I'm like Kelly, I have over 20 decks. Some of them I could give away now. I'm ready to let go of. But it's amazing how I'll sit here and I'll pick up a deck and I'll go, okay, I'm gonna use this deck for a reading. And then all of a sudden there's another deck and I'm like, oh, nope, I guess I'm not today. I'm picking this deck. Like you get a pull to whichever deck is needed, right? So you can.
I actually had to give away my animal oracle deck to my granddaughter. Like, it was her birthday and I knew that she liked it. And I thought, okay, I'm giving it to her. So she's got my original one. And then I ordered another one because I like this deck so much. And so now this is my new deck, but it works the same way as far as I'm concerned. It's just, I really like the messages. I love the art in it. Is beautiful of the animals. And yeah.
What's
So
it called? I mean,
this one is called Spirit of the Animal, and it's got a dragonfly on the box, and the book has got the whale. So Spirit of the Animal Oracle by Jody Bergsma, Bergsma.
Nice.
I think that's why my grandchildren love it so much, is they're just, the animals in it are just beautiful.
Yeah. There's always one more that you need. I have 2 new decks also. They're downstairs and they're just gorgeous, but I use them more in my art room than here. Kelly, were you going to say something or maybe not? I'll just.
Yeah, I was. I have a deck. It's called Crazy Sexy You. And then another deck called Trust Your Vibes.
Nice.
And they are just so fun. Like they're, I've got the Archangel Michael. Like Micah, I've probably got, more than a dozen and a half boxes of these. It's just, those are the 2 that always call me and say, you got to pull something for me. Plus I think, I can't show you now because I'm driving, but they are in a teal colored box. And both of them, and it's like, okay, those clearly are my colors, and so that's what I want to say is you find the funniest names of these cards that you're drawn to. So just wanted to share that.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, now we're gonna meditate a bit, Kelly, so you pay attention if you're driving.
I'm not gonna meditate with you guys because I gotta go get the little one.
Okay, so we're just gonna drop in kind of like we did before, and we'll circle up in our meditation with each other and see if any messages come through for anyone in particular in our circle. And then after we come out of the meditation, we'll shuffle our deck and either cut the deck or pull a card, or one card will fall out that will add to that message for you, for that person. Okay. Makes sense? I may just wait a minute for Kelly to come back. So you can hold your cards while you meditate, play with them, or just put them down and put a crystal on if you want. It's all good. When I meditate also, or when I channel, I'm holding my channeling crystal, and this is my sacred bundle that was given to me by a native elder. So it's nice to have a specific crystal that is your channeling crystal and to hold it. I have I have like a healing crystal, a channeling crystal, and give your crystals a specific job that they assist you with. And that, again, that energy strengthens over time, because that's what it's about. When you also can pick a card by spreading them out, like fanning them out, and then taking your left hand, running it kind of back and forth, and feel the energy. When you feel a warmth or a tingle or a pull, that's where you kind of go down, and the first card you touch is the one that you choose. Another way is by dividing the deck in half, right? And then putting your hand over either one. Looks like up here. So feel this one and then feel this one. It's like, which one has more of that pull or warmth? And go, oh, okay. So it's this one. And now divide that in half, right? And again, this one or this one. And then again, divide it in half, and you'll narrow it right down to one card or two cards eventually, and you'll pick the card. So that's one way, another way of doing it. Okay. All right. So let's just take a minute, make sure you maybe light a candle and settle in for a minute. We will get ourselves focused for this. All right, let's close our eyes and take some long, deep breaths. And just taking a minute to bring yourself into this moment right here, right now, letting everything else go. Bringing your awareness into your heart once you've taken some long, deep breaths. Come back to your normal breathing pattern. And just imagine yourself standing in nature with your feet, bare feet on the ground. Letting your heart light completely expand and grow. And just standing in your heart light, see that column of light that runs up and down your body, and feel yourself connecting to the heart of Mother Earth and connecting up into the heart of the universe. And just take a minute to make sure you're grounded, connected into Mother Earth. She's there for you. And also up into the pure, highest resonances of the universe, the beautiful crystalline light that connects to the grid of energy that connects us all together. And this grid of energy, there's one in the earth below our feet that connects us to everything in the earth, all of our relations, all the trees and plants to the earth, to all the animals. And there is one up above our heads, a beautiful golden grid that connects us all together. And if you were to look at that grid from a higher perspective, where the cross section is of the grid, where you see Some of them are brighter. Some of those cross sections are brighter. These are the light workers in the world. And we are all connected through this grid. So if you were looking at the earth, you could see this beautiful net around the earth. And you can actually see how many light workers there are, how many people that are working on their beautiful energy and shining that out to the world. So bringing yourself into your spot again, where you're standing aligned to the earth and aligned to the universe. And as we had started, I was given the message that it is women hold the potential of change in the world because we are so connected to our hearts, because we feel the love so deeply, and it is through the love that we have for each other, for our mothers, our sisters, for our children, and for our pets that opens us up even more and helps us do this work. Okay, so now imagine that we're standing in a beautiful circle together. We've got this gorgeous fire here in the center. We've created a beautiful sacred space around us, like we're standing in a sphere of light. We call in all our guides, angels, teachers, and healers of the highest truth and compassion. And just feel us standing together in a circle. And as you look around the circle, notice who maybe stands out for you. Maybe there's a brighter light. Maybe you can just visualize them easier. And if you are confused, just choose one person. Just focus in on that person. And just see, are there any messages for this person? Is there anything that needs to come through? And imagine that your guides and angels are connecting with their guides and angels and bringing through the message through you as the channel. Just breathe. Breathe into your heart. And so when you feel that you've received all that you're going to receive for this person, you're going to stay in this beautiful light. You're going to pick up your cards and you're going to continue to keep them in your focus. Maybe call them to come and sit beside you. And receive clarification for them. As you shuffle your cards, you can open your eyes. Oh, you can't see me.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? I'm going to pull my blind down just a minute.
I thought you had done that on purpose because it looks so cool.
No, I didn't. It's
That's
like
funny.
light shining in. Beautiful.
It happened just exactly as you started the meditation, and I thought, wow, is that divine intervention or what?
That's very cool.
Maybe it's coming in for all of you.
It reminded me of those that video that you put on for Archangel Michael the other day, and I thought about how the light beam kind of just shone back from the backlight. It's still awesome. So,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
by the way, I am pulled over on the side of the road.
Okay. Woo. All right. Anybody want to go first? Or do you want me to demo it first and then? No.
You go. Somebody's going to need to teach me how to shuffle these things.
They're hard to shuffle, aren't they? They're big.
Yes, yeah, they're stiff and big. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody feel like, oh, I want to go.
I
Micah.
can. Does
Okay.
Mike want to go?
I'll,
Want
I'll
to-
go.
Okay.
Was Delmain going? It's
No,
okay.
you go ahead.
Mine wasn't like in our circle wasn't one specific person. It was all of us. Like I was seeing like an infinity sign,
Mm,
and they said that we need to remember to bring back to us what we put out. We can't offer to others what we don't offer or embrace for ourselves.
Mm.
And then I was seeing like we were in a circle and we were creating a pillar of light, but the pillar of light started swirling up. So it looked like a fire or a flame that was burning away illusion and distortion. And as we did that, it like exploded kind of, but then rippled out to every like all beings, I guess. Which was interesting because the card I pulled for Delmain was smoke. So I was like, oh, wow, fire and smoke, here we go. But the message that came through with that was that like what you think is holding you back is not holding you back. It's like smoke and mirrors. It's like whatever it is lying to you. What
an
you
illusion.
what you think is holding you back isn't really holding you back. It's an illusion. But then I also grabbed this card for you, which was that you'll find clarity and connection, or clarity and direction forward in taking time to slow down and connect to the trees, to put your roots down like the trees, but also reach towards
Okay.
the light and like find that space to just be.
Okay. Thank you.
And then Susan's was the other one that came through pretty strong, which was the sacral which is really connecting to your creativity and what you want to create, and moving forward with that. And the other card was Iron, which Iron has to do with connecting to like your life force, like what your like what's flowing through your blood or your body that you need to share and you need to put out, because there's lightning too, and I always feel like when there's lightning, it's like whatever it is that's going to be created is going to be a lightning of change that will explode, I guess. So
Nice. Thank you, Micah. Awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right. Go ahead,
you're
Delmain.
welcome.
Okay, so I kept seeing the owl, and I kept seeing an owl that was made from crystals. So it was really cool. So I connected that with you, Janice, just because you're wearing your owl today and you're doing the owl paintings. And so I don't know, it just seemed to be connected to you. But it was also for me too. And it's like, okay, we're going to go to Lake Louise and hang out. So that was what I got. And then I pulled a card for more clarification, and it's the lion card. And on this one, it says we all have the courage that we need. Let go of the past and reclaim your majesty. You will find success and contentment with those by your side. So there's working together, and make noble choices for your life and your tribe. So yeah, so I thought that was
Thank
kinda
you.
cool. So that's
Thank you.
what I got.
Beautiful. Micah and I have been channeling this lion for a couple weeks now, so this is cool. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Susan, do you want to go? Or Lane, do
I
you need to
didn't-
go just in case your kids are?
No, he just had to poop in the middle of Micah's.
Good
So I
thing.
took the computer there. Anyway, this is my life. But actually usually my daughter's in school today, and my son is starting next Thursday from 9 to 11:30, so it's perfect. I won't be as distracted in the future meetings, but today I am because they're off school. But I drew a card before we started the meditation just for myself, and it said, "In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love." And then, so I feel like that's this group. So I thought that was cool. But in the channeling, I channeled Delmain. Oh, just give me goosebumps. But it's like, you are beautiful. Be the light wherever you go. That, my dear, is your purpose. You are beautiful.
Oh, thank
And then
you.
the card that I drew for you is my fearless freedom lights up the world. It's just like a sunset.
Cool.
So that's for you.
Thank you.
That is beautiful.
Mhm.
I want to hug you right now.
Thanks, Lane. Okay, Susan, what do you have?
Well, I drew a card. I'm trying to figure out what it means. And I guess I just did it for everyone because nobody in particular came up. This is when coyote calls your name. And it says here, the essential meaning is divine detours, the value of not getting what you think you want, discovering greater treasure when you are forced to change course. And then there's a longer, shall I read what else it says?
Sure.
Sometimes you find yourself confused about your direction. You might have been so sure you were meant for this situation, this love, this job, or this thing, yet you're forced to walk away. All the signs have been pointing to potential magic and fulfillment, but somehow things are not turning out the way you expected or wanted. When Coyote calls your name, you're being given a great gift. This apparent loss, detour, or change of course has been set in motion to give you what you truly need. The dream weavers know the truth in your heart. They know the perfect reflections of your greatest dreams are already available and woven into the fabric of your life, just waiting for you to discover them. But they are meant to come in a different form than the one you've become attached to. In this moment, it's important for you to surrender your expectations and trust in divine timing and form. When Coyote calls your name, you will know this way was the best way for you after all. Your life is woven true, and the new threads of your experience sparkle. There really was no loss or disappointment at all, only a new, meaningful adventure and a beautiful story to tell.
Beautiful. That reminds me of, well, that's Coyote Trickster. The spirit keeper of the South is Coyote Trickster. So when you're thinking that everything's going the way you want, Coyote will trick you. Yes. And there's always laughter there too. Thank you, Susan. That was
You're
a beautiful
welcome.
message for all of us. My message came through for you, Susan. I saw you clearly with a bright light and my pyramid crystal over your head. So I don't know if pyramids have any special meaning to you or not, because it's for you. So I will just leave that with you, because I was like, does she need to go to the pyramids? Does she need to connect to the pyramids? And it's like, and then I was logically thinking, she's in Mexico. She could go to forget the name of the place, the big long name.
Guachi Montones or something like that. I went when my son was here. We went to Guachi Montones, whatever. And they're round pyramids.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I did a thing back in art school decades ago. I wrote and what's the word? Illustrated a little loose leaf book called Pyramid Power. So I think pyramids have power, a lot of power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you need to pull that out and read it again.
I don't know where it is. It's probably one of the many things I'm missing in my life now. Having emptied a house twice.
Okay. Bye, Micah. Sorry. Yeah. And then the card that came through was Medicine Mother. And Medicine Mother is a card that says that you honor your inner knowing. Like you're the mother. You have been through life, Susan. You're 81. There is so much wisdom within you. And it's about claiming that, saying, okay, wait a minute. I have a lot here of wisdom that could be shared. And so the message was to, first of all, stand in your power and claim that you do have all this intuitive knowledge, all of this wisdom within you. And secondly, perhaps then ask the universe for your writing. What is the message that needs to come through for people? Because we write books, we write for other people. So what is the message? And your journey could be part of that, right? But what is the focal message of what needs to come through for people? Before I leave this earth, what can I channel through for them? There, that's for you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, and somehow the pyramids are connected to that.
Okay. I'll put one on top of my head. Right.
Yeah, there you go. That's where it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just quickly wanted to say, like in the module, it shows you and talks to you about creating space in your life. I have 3 pictures and the way I create the space in the 4 directions in my home. I also have a medicine bag. So this is my medicine bag that I made in my shamanic circle 30 years ago. And it's just a piece of leather, and we sat in circle. We had all this material in front of us, and we just all sat in a circle and created our own medicine bags, just pulled from the circle what was appealing to us. We like it's got leather woven through the sides, so it was just a piece of leather, soft leather that I folded, punched holes in the sides, wove some twine or some leather string through it, and created a flap, and that's it. So it was very simple, but the medicine bag holds your power. So within the medicine bag, you can place special crystals or items. The one item, and we don't share what's in our medicine bag normally, but the one item I do have in here that I often forget I have in here when I'm traveling and I got caught in security was my grandfather's jackknife that he carried with him during the war. And it's very dull. It's just a memento now. And I keep it in my medicine bag. But you would put in your medicine bag the things that are precious to you, that feel powerful for you. When I travel, I take it with me. I also take, I collected shells, like clam shells, when I was in BC on the beach. And this holds my sage when I burn it. So I'll take a small pouch and I use little cotton bags to put things in. So I'll put my sage and my shell in here, and my sweetgrass and my lighter will be in there. And that's another thing, be careful when you travel. So that, and crystals, I will put extra crystals, my channeling crystals, into a cloth bag, into my medicine bag when I travel. My hotel rooms, then I place my crystals in my room. I smudge the room, cleanse it. I sleep a whole lot better in a hotel room when I do that. But it's also, you bring it with you to ceremonies, to powerful circles, because it is part of you. You can also create, your own little pouches to wear with your medicine in it that you need at that time, whether that's crystals or herbs or whatever. So these are ways to continue to hold our power when we're out there in the world, especially, if we're around doubters and people that laugh at you. And I, that's still very relevant in the world right now. It's very relevant around me with different family members. So it's like, you know what, this is my power. I stand in it. So in there, you'll be able to create these if you choose, but you know kind of what it's about now. So you create it when the time is right for you. You can create the 4 direction altars in your home. They don't have to be big and fancy. They're just, you acknowledge that. You place a candle, maybe crystal or water or a feather or something to represent that direction. Sacred space in your home. And they, each one also represents like air, fire, earth, and water, right? The 4 directions. We're painting our shield this month. So it's actually very similar to my buffalo here. He has a shield behind him, but we're going to maybe a square canvas or something square to work on. And we will draw the shield and then put our power animal on the shield that is our protector for us. There's journal prompts in here, and I would encourage you, when I send this recording out, if it's okay with everyone, I will actually show your emails so that you can each
Mhm.
see them. And because I always blind copy it, but I'll put them in there. And then if you so choose to read for each other and connect with each other through the month, you can do that. I used to pair people up and say, okay, you two are reading for each other all month, but I know we all have different schedules, and so I feel like I'm just leaving it more open for this group. You guys are a little different in that way. And that's it, I think. So there was a lot in there. There's a lot of videos and pictures in the Teachable that will give you examples for that.
I
Creating
have just one question. You showed us your little, is it a citron bowl? Is that the one that you leave your crystals in?
this. It's actually
Eat out of?
selenite bowl.
Selenite. Because I
Yeah,
always read that citron doesn't need cleansing.
Oh, is that right? I hadn't
Yeah.
heard that. I'd heard that with selenite wands. They're really good for cleansing energy. This is
Okay.
a selenite wand that you can put on either side of your door or put it on your forehead. Be the unicorn. My
Unicorn.
grandson does that. Yeah, but this was
Selenite
gifted.
with a C or with an S?
S.
Okay.
Yeah, this was gifted to me, so I don't even know where they got it. So I think it was online, probably. Yeah. And then I keep my grandmother's and my mother's rings in here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I need to pick up one of those.
Yeah. And I do have like a power shell for my
Yeah, I
sage
have
and
a-
that. Mhm.
Yeah, I have
But
a,
I picked up quite a few of the shells. And then when I had art groups, when we came together to do the energy paintings, everybody had their own little bowl with sage in it, which was quite nice to use in the group.
the other thing that I'm having trouble with, like my sage will do a nice smudge because it holds the amber or the ember, but my sweetgrass just burns, right?
Yeah, it
Hard
doesn't.
to get
yeah.
it to stay so long enough for you to do to do the smudging. So, and I think that's why I was thinking at first, so I'll do them separate, but I can't because it just doesn't work unless you have an open light of some sort to keep that other one burning.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
kind of
and
put
always
it on top.
always use a candle to light your sage and your
Yeah.
sweetgrass. But you knew that. But yeah, the sweetgrass, same thing for me. This morning I was like, come on, let's go. And I think the further down you get on the sweetgrass, the harder, like it's just maybe wasn't as dry as it should have been when I got it. That's pretty normal for sweetgrass, right?
So the one I have actually just burns, like it's just gone.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so
And
it was
I was
perhaps
gifted it from an Indigenous friend of mine that's an artist here in town. Because I
nice.
asked her, I said, oh, do you know where I can get some? And she said, oh, well, I'll bring some over. So she just gave it to me. But I did find that, oh my goodness, it's so dry that it just burns away like really quick.
Yeah, and maybe it's not woven quite as tight as
Yeah,
what-
it's not tight.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm not sure. Anyway,
Well,
all
it'll
right.
still work. Okay. Well, thank you, you guys. I love you. And let me see. Next, what is today? The 9th, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we meet next Friday with the certification group. And then we are going to do our shamanic painting together with everybody on the 30th in the morning. Okay. All right. All right. And I will see you then.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Micah.